Welcome to this demo for Enzoic for Active Directory. Enzoic is a password screening solution designed from the ground up based on modern password best practices and NIST guidelines. Let's walk through all the key features. We're looking at the console app where settings are defined and you can see the status in your environment. The System Health tab checks for a regular heartbeat on each domain controller to ensure Enzoic is always running. Administrators are alerted if there are service problems. In the monitoring policy section of the console, you can set up your policies and apply them to different populations. For instance, you may want different rules, or perhaps just different actions when a compromised password is detected based on the type of account. You can define who you'll protect by selecting specific users, groups, OUs, and containers. The Password Changes tab makes sure users' passwords are checked when they are created, and whether Enzoic should check during administrative password resets, for instance, via the Windows AD Users and Computer app. The Continuous Password Monitoring tab enables the ongoing daily auditing against the latest data breaches. Other services rely on static or less frequently updated sources. Once a password becomes unsafe, you can have the user change their password on next login or after a preset delay. Other options include disabling the account with a delay or sending notifications to users or your administrative contacts. Credentials monitoring refers to checking the user's exact email and password as a specific pair. When enabled, Enzoic checks full credentials from Active Directory at password reset and continuously after that. The remediation options are the same, but since an exact credential being compromised is a more significant vulnerability than a password only, you might want to choose a more stringent remediation plan. In the password policy section, you can tailor your password policy with the following options. Common passwords goes beyond passwords from data breaches and rejects passwords that we find in cracking dictionaries that are shared by hackers. Fuzzy matching undoes the typical character substitutions called leet speak, such as replacing an E with a 3. These are patterns that people commonly use and hackers know all too well. Screening root passwords will also undo any leading or trailing numbers or symbols. If your users add an exclamation mark or a 123 at the end of a weak password, they actually aren't making it any more secure. Enzoic also considers the specific user, blocking passwords based on their username, email address, first name, and last name. And if fuzzy matching is enabled above, leet speak substitutions will be checked here too. The repeating character option allows you to detect and prevent this common behavior that is typically used to get around your password length requirements without making the password any more secure. And password similarity makes sure that the user's new password isn't too much like their previous password. You can use the distance option to determine how many changes are required. On the network setting page, you can add a password timeout. Enzoic typically takes just a couple hundred milliseconds for a round-trip check. If it takes longer than the timeout period to connect for any reason, the password change will be allowed to go through. If the password is compromised, it'll still be caught during the continuous monitoring process. And if you'd like, you can route Enzoic internet traffic through a proxy in your environment. You can also create your own banned list with a custom dictionary. For example, add your company's brand names or product names. Cybercriminals know that users often use passwords related to their environment. This dictionary uses a contains type matching, so you don't need to enter every variation. And when fuzzy matching is enabled, it also protects against leet speak substitutions here. For administrative notifications, alerts are sent when a new compromise is detected and when they're resolved, if there are system errors that need attention, and to receive summary reports. These include the number of password checks and details about which user had compromised passwords and their current remediation status. This is helpful as documentation for any compliance audit. Client settings. In this area, Enzoic offers an optional Windows client that can be installed on each end-user machine to show your organization's password policy on the password change screen. And when an end-user's password is rejected, they're told why. This includes both policies that are set in Enzoic and natively in Windows. Reporting in the console shows a count of password changes and continuous monitoring checks. A hover over shows more information. For example, if the match occurred based on a password from a data breach or if you're from your custom dictionary. The third report shows all your monitored users and their current status. This can be easily exported to CSV. Enzoic's log files are also in a JSON format designed for importing into other tools. For example, a SIM to enable other alert-driven use cases. With Enzoic for Active Directory, you get a fully automated approach to eliminating compromised passwords in your environment. This provides your organization with improved security for the authentication layer you're already invested in, compliance with industry standards, a better user experience with passwords, and a lower cost of keeping passwords safe. You can learn more at enzoic.com and register there for a free license for up to 20 users.